Good day for everyone. Sultanbayeva Gulmira, a teacher of school named after Kazimkhan Munaitpasov. Unit 7, Music and the Film. Today's topic is present perfect plus for and the since. In today's lesson, learners will be able to learn the difference between the active and the passive, practice forming active sentences to passive, and will also learn some new personality adjectives. Before starting our lesson, now look at the structure of active voice. In active voice, the subject of a sentence is the person or thing we talk about. When the subject does something, we use active voice. Now pay attention to the example. People sell good luck flowers. Here, the word people, it is subject. The word sell, it is a verb. And the good luck flowers is object. Now look at the structure of passive voice. We often use the passive when the action is more important than the person who does it. So it means the person who did the action isn't important than the action. The subject in active sentences becomes the agent in the passive. And the agent isn't always needed in passive sentences. Now look at the example. Good luck flowers are sold by people. So here, good luck flowers, it is a subject, and the are sold, it is the structure of passive voice. And the by people, it is agent. So we can use agent in some cases, and in some cases we don't need to use it. Now look at the active and the passive sentences in this table. Here we have two examples. Halmjan and some musicians formed the band in 2015. Here it is a singular because the band is a singular form. Halmjan and the musicians formed the bands in 2015. So it is in plural form because the word the bands is in plural form. Now look at the second example. Thousands of people watch the videos in Kazakhstan. Here the videos is in plural form. And in the next example, thousands of people watch the video in Kazakhstan. The video is in singular form. Now let's change these examples into passive form. Now pay attention to the singular and the plural forms. The band was formed by Ghalmjan and some musicians in 2015. So here we use was because it is in singular form, and the word formed, it is in past participle. Now look at the plural form. The bands were formed. It is in plural form by Ghalmjan and some musicians in 2015. Look at the next example. The videos are watched by thousands of people in Kazakhstan. It is in plural form because the videos is in plural form. And the video is watched by thousands of people in Kazakhstan. This sentence is in singular form because the word video is singular. Now look at these examples. You have to change these examples into passive form. Alfred Nobel discovered dynamite. So how would you change it into passive voice? Yes, that's right. Dynamite was discovered by Alfred Nobel. By Alfred Nobel, it is an agent of this sentence. Look at the next example. Spain won the World Cup in 2010. We have to change it into passive form. Yes, you are right. The World Cup was won by Spain in 2010. Look at the next example. Columbus discovered America. So, in the passive voice, it is America was discovered by Columbus. Very good, that's right. Now let's continue. Egyptians built the pyramids. When we change it into passive voice, pay attention the word pyramids because it is in plural form. Yes, that's right. The pyramids were built by Egyptians. Look at the next example. Kazakh people cook bağırsak every Friday. When we change it into passive voice, it would be bağırsak is cooked by Kazakh people every Friday. Very good. Now let's continue. More than a billion of people speak English. Pay attention to the word English. It is in singular form. So how do you think? How would you change this sentence into passive voice? Yes, that's right. English is spoken by more than a billion of people. Very good. Now let's continue. Here we have a new vocabulary of today's lesson, adjectives to learn. On the left side, we have adjectives. On the right side, we have definitions, the meaning of these adjectives. You have to match them. So now look at the first word, open-minded. How do you think? What is the meaning of this word? Look through to these definitions and find the meaning of open-minded. Yes, you are right. The willing to consider ideas and opinions that are new or different to your own. Now look at the second word, unfair. How do you think? What is the definition of the word unfair? Yes, you are right. Not treating people in an equal way or not morally right. Now look at the next, irresponsible. How do you think? What is the meaning of this word, irresponsible? Yes, that's right. Not thinking enough or not worrying about the possible results of what you do. Now pay attention to the next adjective, practical. What is the definition of this word? Yes, that's right. Relating to experience, real situations, or actions rather than ideas or imagination. That's right, very good. Now let's continue. Look at the next word, illegal. How do you think? What is the definition of this word? Yes, you are right, not allowed by law. Pay attention to the next adjective, indecent. How do you think? What is the definition of this word? Yes, that's right, morally offensive. So here we have the next adjective, immoral. How do you think? What is the meaning of this adjective? Yes, that's correct. Morally wrong or outside society's standards of acceptable, honest, and moral behavior. And here we have the last adjective, disrespectful. So what is the definition of disrespectful? Yes, that's right, lacking respect. Very good, now let's move on. Here we have a text. You have to find passive sentences in this text. First of all, look through this text and find passive sentences. Clothes crimes. You may think that people are more open-minded now, but that isn't always true. Recent clothes criminals were teenagers wearing fairly standard clothes. In Britain, young people wearing hooded sweatshirts were banned from some shopping centers because hoodies are sometimes worn by criminals or want to hide their faces. But does that mean that all people who wear hoodies are criminals? It seems unfair and irresponsible to persecute people if they simply want to wear practical, comfortable clothes. And in the United States, it was baggy jeans that shocked the public. A popular fashion with hip-hop fans is to wear very baggy jeans and show their underwear, an outrage which was banned and became illegal in some American towns. This probably wasn't because the clothes were indecent or immoral, but because some people thought that this style was typical of the disrespectful or criminal nature of some hip-hop fans. Maybe the day will come when people will be judged on who they are, not on the clothes that they wear. So pay attention to the text and try to find passive sentences. Yes, that's right, very good. Here we have three passive voice. The first is were banned in plural form and the past simple. And the second is are worn also in plural, present passive. And the last is was banned. Very good, now let's continue. Look at the next exercise. Complete the sentences using the correct active or passive form of the verbs in brackets. So you have to open the bracket and put this verb into active voice or passive voice. Look at the first example. These days, people a lot of clothes on the internet. So is it an active or passive voice? Yes, you are right. It is an active. We just write here a word by. Now look at the second. Chains and the Padlocks by punks in the 1970s. Yes, you are right. Were worn. It is in passive voice. Look at the third sentence. In the 18th century, new machinery which revolutionized the textile industry. Yes, it is in passive voice, was invented. Now look at the next example. A lot of cheap clothing in Thailand these days. Is it an active or passive? Yes, it is in passive. Is made. And look at the last example. Very thin models in some fashion shows. Yes, that's right. Are banned. It is passive voice. Let's move on to the next exercise. Make the active sentences passive, include the agent if necessary. Look at the first example. Someone named the bikini after an island in the Pacific Ocean. So how would you change it into passive form? Yes, that's right. The bikini was named after an island in the Pacific Ocean. Look at the next example. Sarah Burton designed Kate Middleton's wedding dress. So when we change it into passive voice, it would be. That's correct. Kate Middleton's wedding dress was designed by Sarah Burton. So very good. Here we have the next sentence. Charles Worth established the first fashion house in Paris. So how would you change it into passive voice? Yes, you are right. The first fashion house was established. It is in past simple. Past passive voice. In Paris by Charles Worth. Now look at the last example. Nike sponsors the top US tennis player, Serena Williams. So, how would you change it into past passive voice? Yes, you are right. The top US tennis player, Serena Williams, is sponsored by Nike. Here, the word by Nike is an agent, and the is sponsored is passive voice structure. Very good, let's move on. Here we have a reflection of our lesson. So if you show your thumbs up, the lesson was excellent. I learned so much. If you just smile, the lesson was good. I learned something. And if you are sad, the lesson was okay. I learned a little. Good luck for everyone. Goodbye.